Hello guys, hope you all are well and good. And in this video, we will be studying or discussing physical geography. Physical geography, we will start with basics. And in basics, we all know that our Earth has 7 continents. I'll try to arrange them in decreasing order area wise. So the continent with the maximum area is Asia, second is Africa, third is North America, South America, then we have Antarctica, Europe and Australia. Population wise, if I try to arrange them in population wise, then Asia, Africa, Europe, North America, South America, Australia, and then Antarctica. Now, as we go through the world map, we come across some terminologies. Terms like ocean, terms like sea. What is the difference between a sea and ocean? Ocean shares boundary with continents, whereas a sea shares boundary with countries. See, there are some seas which shares boundary with continents. For in case Mediterranean Sea, it has Africa in south and Europe in north. I'm not denying the fact that they do not share boundary with continents. They do, but majorly maximum of the seas share boundary only with countries. The next thing we come across is bay, gulf, bight, all these three have the same properties except one. There's only one difference between them. Bay, gulf or bight is a water body surrounded by landmass from three sides. The only difference is that on the fourth side from where it is open, the broadness of the fourth side of the opening is what varies in them. The opening of gulf will be shorter than bay, and the opening of bight will be broader than bay. So if you try to arrange them in decreasing order as per their opening, bight, bay and gulf. You may have also seen terms like strait. Strait is a narrow water body, connecting two large water bodies or dividing two land masses. Next we have isthmus. Isthmus is you can say opposite of straight. It is a narrow landmass which connects two bigger landmasses and divides two water bodies. That is what we call isthmus. Now if you will broaden the strait, it will become passage, and if we'll broaden this passage, it will become channel. So these are some of the terminologies which we observed, which we come across while observing the world map. Now, the next topic which we'll be discussing in basics part is latitudes and longitudes. As we have till now studied that latitudes are the horizontal lines and longitudes are the vertical lines. But actually, these latitudes and longitudes are the angles. Now, on every angle, a line, an imaginary line is formed. That imaginary line can be a latitudinal line or a longitudinal line. Let's see. Say I have divided the earth into two parts and I have taken this as a base. I am calling it as 0 degree angle, 0 degree latitude. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 90. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 and 90. Now every line made on these latitudes will be latitudinal lines. The question which have the two of questions are exist. Two questions exist over here, which have been asked in some of the competitive exams. They are that how many latitudes do we have? Simple. 1 to 90 in northern hemisphere, 1 to 90 in southern hemisphere, and 0 degree latitude. So in total we have 181 latitudes. These are angles. The next question is how many latitudinal lines do we have? Lines. So it's easy. As you said, that on every latitude, the line on every latitude will be the latitudinal line. So if the latitudes are 181, the latitudinal lines will also be 181. That's not the case. The point is, say, if you get a chance, luckily, if you get a chance to take a ride on chopper, and you ask the pilot to take you towards one of the poles, either North Pole or either South Pole. When you will be flying over the North Pole or South Pole, say this is a 70 degree, 80 degree, and this will be the 90 degree. It means that on 90 degree we have no line but a point. Similarly, it would be on the other pole, the North Pole or the South Pole. So we have 2 points. Hence I will be deducting 2 from 181 and I'll get the answer 179 lines. Next, longitudes. Taking this as base, 0 degree, 10, 20, 30, 40, 90, 100, 110 and similarly 179. 10, 20, 90, 179. Every line on a longitude will be a longitudinal line. Simple. The question arises that how many longitudes do we have? Simple. 1 to 179. 1 to 179 plus 1 longitude of 0 degree and 1 longitude of 180 degree. Hence 360. The next tricky question is, as it was in latitudes, how many longitudinal lines do we have? See, for this we have to understand something. A latitudinal line is what which starts from a north pole and ends at the south pole. It is not, a longitudinal line is not which starts from the north pole, passes through south pole and again reaches to the north pole from the other side. This is not a definition of longitudinal line. What does longitudinal line mean? That it will start from north pole and it will end at south pole. So, as per this definition, we will have 179, 179, 1, hence 360 longitudinal lines. And one more thing, that the difference between latitudes, remains almost equal. That is approximately 111 kilometers. On the other hand, the difference between longitudes keeps on decreasing as we will move towards poles. So no need to remember the difference between two longitudes. Just remember the approximate figure of the difference of two latitudes, that is 111 kilometers. You might have studied somewhere, if not then listen over here, that longitudes are associated with time and date. Longitudes are associated with time and date. Let's understand the relationship between longitude and time first. Now imagine, say you are a sun for a time, not SON sun, SUN wala sun, Suraj, and the earth is rotating in front of you. Rotating, not revolving. The earth is rotating in front of you. What will change? Longitudes will change. Remember this point. Say the earth is flat for a time. This is west, this is east. Till now we have studied that the sun rises in the east. But the actual phenomena is that the earth rotates from west to east. Due to this rotation from west to east, it seems that the sun is moving from east to west. Means it is rising in the east and is setting in the west. Say this is A person, B person and C person. If it is 12 noon over here, means the sun is direct above the B. I can say that it is 12 noon over here. Now as the sun moved from east to west, it means the person C have already experienced noon. So it will be evening over here. Say it is 5 in the evening. I am writing it as 17 hours. And this person A is still sleeping and waiting for his alarm to ring. So it's morning over here. It will be, say it is 7 hours. 7 hours. The point here is that if you want to move towards east from a specific point on earth, you will have to add something to this 12 to make it 17. If you will move towards west, you will have to subtract something from 12 to make it 7. What does it imply? It implies that on earth, if you will move from a particular point towards east, then you will have to add time to your watch. And if you want to move from a particular point towards west, then you will have to subtract the time in your watch. Sir, how much time? How we will be able to calculate? Simple formula. We have 360 longitudinal lines and we have 24 hours. So 360 upon 24 is equals to 1 hour, which means 15 degree is equals to 1 hour. I can write 1 hour as 60 minutes. 1 degree is equals to 60 upon 15. So 1 degree is equals to 4 minutes. So if you will travel 1 degree, then you will have to make change of 4 minutes. That could be addition or subtraction. Similarly, if you will travel 15 degrees, you will have make change of 1 hour. This is how longitudes and time are related. Next. Next we have longitudes and date. Actually, for our convenience, we took the 0 degree. For our convenience, I'm discussing time only. For our convenience, we took 0 degree longitude passing from Royal Observatory, Greenwich, London. We took this longitude as the basis for the time of whole world. So, moving towards east from this longitude means you will have to add some time, and west means you have to subtract some time. In 1884 it was decided, and in 1947 India made its Indian Standard Time at 82 degree and 30 minutes east, as it was suggested by the committee that to all the nations that please choose the longitude which is the multiple of 7 degree and 30 minutes. Why? Because it is half of 15 degrees. 15 degrees means 1 hour. So that it becomes convenient for the people of this world to maintain their watches, or for the flights, shipping, everything, for the international trade or something like that. So it was suggested that please choose your time zone as per the multiple of 7 degree and 30 minutes. So Royal Observatory, Greenwich, London, and we choose our Indian standard. This is called Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, and the time on this 82 and 30 degree east is plus 5:30. You can calculate it if you want. Plus 5:30 hours, and it is known as Indian Standard Time, as we have discussed in the Indian geography. Now coming to longitudes and date. Longitudes and date. How they are related? Say this is the world map. This is the 0 degree west, east. For in case a person A is standing over here, just on the edge. A person B is standing on the other edge. If it is 3rd January over here, it will be 2nd January over here. I think I don't need to tell it, explain it why 3rd here and why 2nd here, because the eastern part observes time earlier. What you have to do is make this diagram on a sheet, plug that sheet, make it into a cylinder. After you will make it into a cylinder means after you will join these two edges, you will get one line, like I am saying it as 180 degree. The person A will standing here 3rd January, the person B will standing here 2nd January. So see this diagram first. Over here I can say that there is approximately 24 hours of difference between them. Approximately 24 hours of difference between them. Now when they are together, as the earth is geoid, as they are together, still the difference is 24 hours. How it is possible? So we had to make this 180 degree longitude as international date line. Now if you move from west to east, it is 3rd January over here, it is 2nd January over here. in this region only. For in case, just for our convenience, if we will move from west to east and if we cross international dateline or 180-degree latitude, then we will have to delete a day. On the other hand, if we'll move towards west, east to west, and we cross 180-degree longitude, we will have to add a day. On the other hand, say if A moves towards this side, he is living in 3rd January and he has already experienced 2nd January in his life. He has already lived 2nd January in his life. So if he moves from this point to this point and crosses 180-degree latitude, it means he has gained a day in his life. On the other hand, if B moves from this point to this point, from east to west, passing through 180-degree longitude, he will have to bear the loss because directly from 2nd January he has jumped to 3rd January. So he hasn't lived the day of 2nd January fully. Delete, deletion, addition, gain, loss. This 180-degree is what we call as international date line. Now this international date line, this longitude is passing from on one side we have Russia, on the other side we have Alaska, and in between we have Bering Strait. I hope you know the meaning of strait now. The name of that strait is Bering Strait between Russia and Alaska. As the longitude was passing from some of the islands in Pacific Ocean, so those countries were given an option whether you want to get shifted, whether you want the longitude towards your west or east. So when they decided, we got the line somewhere this way with 4 folds. As you know, it will not be possible, it will not be even convenient for a country that an international date line is passing through it. So some of them decided to be towards east, some of them will be west, and today we have this 180-degree latitude or one international date line as today we have this is international date line. Next, we have latitudes and seasons. It is said that longitudes are responsible for day and night. Longitudes are responsible or associated with day and night. But latitudes are associated with variation in the length of day and night. Variation in the length of day and night. How? Let's see. Say this is sun. Here we have our Earth with angle of its axis inclined. Now this angle of axis is inclined with a degree of 23.5. Taking the orbit as its base, orbital plane, so-called orbital plane as its base. This is not the equator, guys, orbital plane. The orbit on which Earth revolves around the Sun. We can say that if the angle of axis of the Earth would have been straight, then it would have formed 90 degree. Now as 23.5 degree is deducted from 90 degree, so we are left with this part, that is 66.5 degree. So it may be asked that what is the angle of axis in respect to orbital plane? What is the angle of axis in respect to orbital plane? The answer will be 66.5 degrees. Anyways. We have our Earth over here. This is equator, Tropic of Cancer, Capricorn. Equator, Cancer, and Capricorn. If you will observe both the conditions, you will be able to see that this inclination is making a difference. What is the difference? That the sunlight of Earth is directly being experienced at Tropic of Capricorn. And on the other side, on the other part of the Earth, we have slant rays or inclined rays to be observed. Similarly, on the other side, the direct sunlight is being experienced at, or insolation. Insolation means heat energy from sunlight, is being experienced at Tropic of Cancer. What difference does it make? Direct sunlight means summer in the southern hemisphere, winter in the northern hemisphere. Similarly, at this point, summer in the northern hemisphere and winter in the southern hemisphere. Now, as we know that majority of the population and majority of the countries are in northern hemisphere, so majority always wins. What will be experienced in northern hemisphere? As per the northern hemisphere, it will be given the name. So the name of this condition is winter solstice, and the name of this condition will be summer solstice. Solstice means to reach its maximum point. To reach its maximum point. Maximum point means, listen to me carefully. So this is Earth, and this is the third condition. If you imagine it properly, you will be able to observe that in these two situations, the sunlight is directly upon equator. Look over here. This is the angle of inclination. Sunlight will be maximum over here. Angle of inclination, sunlight will be maximum over here. Say this is the sun and this is the condition. This is the sun. Now, do you think that sunlight will be from this side? It will come from this side. Do you think this angle of inclination on the inclined axis is making any difference? It revolves from here to here. Sun is over here. Similarly, it will not make a difference. So I have a 2D diagram. That's it. You'll have to make some efforts to make yourself understand. Winter solstice, summer solstice. Now what happened? At this point of time, the sunlight was maximum at, or insolation was maximum at Tropic of Capricorn. As it moved from this point to this point, it took 3 months. The direct sunlight came on equator. 3 months, direct sunlight came on Tropic of Cancer. 3 months, direct sunlight came again on equator. 3 months, direct sunlight came on Tropic of Capricorn. So this solstice means to reach its maximum point. What is the maximum point of direct sunlight? Tropics. Beyond the tropics, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, we do not observe direct sunlight. We only observe inclined rays or slant rays. This is the reason solstice, to reach its maximum point. On the other hand, see, these tropics have not been decided abruptly. The experience of insolation is the reason behind it. ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि सुबह उठा और हमें पता लगा कि चलो आज सपना आया था. Let's make the Tropic of Capricorn at 23.5 degrees south and Tropic of Cancer at 23.5 degrees north. This is not the case. Tropics itself mean to move back, to return. Means sunlight comes over here, then equator, Cancer, equator, Capricorn. It moves, maximally reaches to its extent of this 23.5 degrees. So, on the basis of insolation, it has been decided that these tropics have been decided, and the name Cancer and Capricorn have been adopted from astronomy. So, this will be called as equinox, means equal sunlight on both sides. Again, this will be equinox. Now, as we know, as we have studied in Indian geography, that our India lies in, or Tropic of Cancer divides India into 2 equal parts. So our India is situated somewhere over here in this part. Now we can very easily remember, as we are in Northern Hemisphere, we can very easily remember that in which month do we observe winter maximum, intense winter, extreme winter, specifically in Northern India. That month is December. So the date of winter solstice will be 22nd December. Summer solstice, in which month do we observe a maximum or intense or extreme summer? That is June. It is 21st. These dates may vary as per the sources, because actually they do vary every year. They do vary every year with a margin of 24 to 48 hours. So 21st June, 22nd December. Now after 3 months, March, so it will be 21st March. After 3 months, June, it will be 23rd September. It will be 23rd September. You have to remember one thing. That one thing is that after summer, we observe, or the earth observes autumn. And after winter, the earth observes spring. This is not correct as per India's perspective, because India observes monsoon. Okay? This is as per the whole earth. So if this northern hemisphere has observed winter, after that it will observe spring. So it will be spring equinox or vernal equinox, and it will be, northern hemisphere has observed summer, so it will be autumnal equinox. Autumnal equinox. Latitudes and seasons. I told you one statement. That the latitude is responsible for variation in the length of day and night. In the length of day and night. Let's see how. Equator, Cancer, Capricorn. Here we have our sun. So if you observe it, the light will fall in this region. It will be day over here. Now look at this. This region. As we know, this is the condition of winter solstice. It means the sunlight is directly over Capricorn. Look at the Capricorn. This area of day and this area of night. Cancer. This area of day, this area of night. I hope you might have got it. यहाँ पर क्या है, डे है, this area, this it means on Tropic of Capricorn we are observing longer days and shorter nights, as it is the condition of winter solstice, and at Tropic of Cancer we are observing shorter days and longer nights in the time of winter solstice. So now let's consolidate what we have discussed there. Position of sun, seasons, length of day as per India, length of night as per India. 21st March, position of sun will be on equator, or you can say equinox. Which equinox? Spring equinox or vernal equinox. Seasons will be spring in northern hemisphere and autumn in southern hemisphere. The length of day will be equal, night will be equal to of day. 21st June, the position of sun is Tropic of Cancer. So you can say it is summer solstice. summer in northern hemisphere, winter in southern hemisphere. Length of day is, it is long, night is short. 22nd December, I am not taking the case of 23rd September. The reason that it is vice versa of this part. Only these two will change. It will become autumnal equinox, autumn in northern hemisphere, spring in southern hemisphere. The days and night will be equal. 22nd December, it is winter solstice, means the sun is direct above Capricorn. So it will be summer, or it will be winter in the northern hemisphere and summer in southern hemisphere. The length of the day as per India will be short and it will be long. So this covers our basic part, latitudes and longitudes. Thank you.